Connor, you need to come forward. Are you Kayla Connor? All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, she's trying to get back on the feet, and I think she's doing that well. She got kind of mixed up with this group of people here, and she's now with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's family, and they have 2 children together, and she's expecting again in December. So we're hoping that the court follows the recommendation now.
So where is Alexander White, your child?
That is not my child. That was my ex-boyfriend's son. He was taken by the state back last year sometime, so I'm not aware. I haven't had any contact with him.
How many children do you have?
I have 3 of my own and 4 including this one.
Okay, and where were your children during this beating of a child with your ex-boyfriend?
They were in the
Seems
room
like
with
it
me.
might be a good case for deferred. This is first.
It happened and he had his own, him and I worked together when this happened in the apartment. We
Mhm.
hadn't started dating yet.
Mhm.
And
we've never
I
been
was
arrested.
in the room dealing with my children and he was doing his
For
own
the-
thing with his child.
So did you start dating after this?
Yeah.
Why would you start dating
I
someone?
wasn't aware
No,
that he was,
listen to my question. Why would you start dating someone who's abusive to their child?
because I wasn't aware of the extent. He was telling me one thing, that it was just a simple spanking. I was not aware of how he was actually handling his child. I had just met him at the time of this happening.
I'm sorry, what?
I had just met him at the time of this happening.
Mhm.
We hadn't even known each other. I don't even think a month.
So you hadn't known each other a month when this happened.
He was my uncle's brother, so I
Okay.
figured he would be somebody I'd be able to trust, considering my adoptive uncle. I've known him for a while. I didn't think anything harmful of the situation.
Just very, very briefly.
Yes.
There are 3 co-defendants here, and one is Brandon White, one is Alexander White, and the other is Kayla White. So there's another Kayla. This is Kayla Connor. The others are charged with injury to a child, and Ms. Connor is charged with violation. So I
Okay.
just want to make sure, because I got kind of confused.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But I will tell you what it never ceases to amaze me. And I never understand why people who have children get involved so easily with other people. I never understood that. Now, what she's telling me is she knew him for a month and this had happened. And how old was the complainant?
At that time, it was
Somewhere 11, somewhere around there.
10, 11.
The fact that you don't know what's going on with somebody that you're dating or you dated after the fact tells me that you're not thinking with a straight head. Are you employed?
Um,
And how many children do you have?
Okay.
All right. So you have 3 children, a baby on the way, and you're not employed. That's a problem. Because what ends up happening, and I've seen it, is you depend on somebody else for financial support. People are just having children all over the place and they're not financially supporting them. And they're going from one boyfriend to the next boyfriend. And I tell people all the time, there are maybe some great guys out there. There may be some great women out there. And I love children, but children are baggage. You need to consider every child you have a suitcase, and it's a heavy suitcase. And you got to ask yourself, the person I'm getting with, do they really want to carry these suitcases with me? And it's not like at the airport where you can put them in a cart. It's you dragging a suitcase, and it's the old fashioned suitcase. It's not the type with the wheels. It's somebody picking those suitcases up and handling them with care. And usually what ends up happening is, and you know this, counsel, because you've done CPS cases, you end up with some random guy who you think is this great guy. Y'all decide to have another child. The child that's biologically his, he treats great. The other children get the shaft. So I hope that you're not going from boyfriend to boyfriend and putting all these random people in your children's life. But you need to get a job, because who's supporting you?
The man I'm with right now.
Yeah. And so now you're dependent on him to support you, to support your children, to keep a roof over your head. And I hope you're not letting him be in charge of disciplining children that are not his biological children.
They are his biological children. I got that with their father.
So you're just moving from person to person. You're with this other boyfriend and now you're with him?
No, we ended up getting back together.
If you're drug tested, what are the results going to be?
I should come clean.
I'm sorry, what?
That I should be clean. I haven't been smoking or anything.
When's the last time you smoked?
Month and a half ago, 2 months ago,
And how far along are you?
4 months.
So you're smoking while you're pregnant.
I didn't know I was pregnant at the time, ma'am.
You don't know you're pregnant in 2 months?
No, I still had my period and everything. I was not aware.
Okay. Probation, I apologize. But you know, they're going to be field visits. So they've agreed to your application for deferred adjudication. I mean, if I could make it so you not have a boyfriend in your life, I would, but I can't do that. I'm hoping that you're protecting your children. I'm hoping that people will learn that they need to be financially responsible for their children, because when they're not, the people who are financially responsible are the taxpayers. I love children. I don't have any children, but I can't tell you the number of children I've paid for a babysitter through taxes. I paid for their daycare through the taxes. But people need to start taking care of their children financially, and people need to start making great decisions for their children, because guess what? None of your children can take care of themselves. You can't send them to Travis Park and say good luck to you, and you keep bringing these random people in. So this is what the court is going to do. The court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. You pled as a co-defendant to Brandon White, Christopher White, and Kayla White. There's to be no contact with Brandon White, Christopher White, Kayla White. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent. There's 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you get it or if you've already had it, 40 of those hours be waived. There's going to be parenting classes, and that'll be the triple T. Remaining of the community service hours will be waived upon completion of those classes. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be field visits 3 times per month. Please tell probation to check on the children. There's to be random UAs. And please have her tested today for levels. Proof of employment. So where are your children now?
At home,
Who's watching them?
their father,
What does he do for a living?
he's an HVAC technician.
What does that mean?
He works on AC units.
All right, we're going to do proof of employment within 3 months. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. All right, good luck to you. We can go off the record. Here's the thing. I do believe, I hope I'm right in believing that you love your children. If you love your children, you know, you've got to be their number one protector and look out for them. And you can't have random people looking out for them. Now, I don't know what happened between you and the relationship and the father of your children that caused you all to break up. But what I do know, if that hasn't been addressed, guess what? You're back in a relationship with the same problems you had before. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. All right, according to probation, you're positive for marijuana. I'm not allowing you to transfer to Austin. So whatever job your husband has, you need to be here in Bexar County. And probation, I want those field visits done 3 times per month randomly until further notice, so we can make sure that the children are okay. So I don't know what's happening in your CPS case. I deal with the criminal side, not the civil side. They're allowing you to go to Austin. I guess that's what they're allowing. I'm not allowing it. If you want to be allowed to live in Austin, then you need to do better on your probation. And better on your probation is not having a house that, from the reports I'm getting, is messy with couches blocking doors and you testing positive for marijuana and being pregnant. And so that means that either you are using marijuana outside your house, in which case the children are being unsupervised, and that would explain the couch blocking the front door, which is a fire hazard. If there's a fire in the house, how do you expect firemen to get in the house when you're blocking it with couches? And if your husband or boyfriend or the father of your children doesn't want to step up and help you if you have medical issues, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship with him. But you are setting a horrible example for your child. And I don't know about this other mother who lives, who knows where, allowing her 9-year-old to come and stay with you, who is on probation for injury to a child by omission. People need to stop letting their children just stay with random people that they don't know and they don't know how they're living. So CBS can do whatever they wish, but I'm telling you right now, your probation is not getting transferred to Austin. You're not allowed to live in Austin. You're going to be living in Bexar County, and this court is going to have to keep an eye on all of these children who are under the age of 3 and the 9-year-old that some parent somewhere seems okay with allowing you to supervise. And if you live in Bexar County and you leave this county to go when I didn't give you permission to, a motion to revoke is going to be filed. Let me ask you this. Is it okay for your 3-year-old to smoke marijuana? Do you have any problem with that?
Of course.
All right. So the child that you are carrying, that you keep rubbing your stomach and you want me to know you're pregnant, guess what? When you're smoking marijuana, you're letting an unborn child smoke marijuana. Just imagine that child in your stomach, kicked back on a couch, smoking marijuana, because that's what you're doing. Do you understand? I'm not going to tolerate that, because use of marijuana is not allowed on probation out of this court. And if your levels rise, we're not going to have a compliance hearing. We're not going to have a conversation. I'm going to get notice that your levels have gone up and a motion to revoke is going to be filed. And wherever you may be, at your home or in the grocery store at HEB or wherever it is, a warrant's going to be issued. And if police see you there, they're going to arrest you. And so do you still want to pretend to me like you have not been smoking marijuana?
I'm doing anything, Your Honor.
Okay, she's still pretending. So I want UA randomly once a week throughout the week.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Kayla Connor, could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Henry out the stage.
for the defense?
David Blair here.
And are you Kayla Connor? So the reason we are here, it's a compliance. And I guess it's a request from your client to live somewhere other than Bexar County. And I asked that certain people be present today. And I've requested that the CPS workers be present. And my understanding probation is present. So would anyone like to call a witness with regards to her living somewhere other than San Antonio? Or am I going to call witnesses?
I'll defer to the.
All right. All right. Could the San Antonio caseworker please come forward? Hello.
Hello.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. You can lower your hand if you can state your name for the record.
Amy Loper.
All right. And what is your relationship to Kayla Connor?
I was the family-based worker for her until about October, beginning of October.
All right. And can you tell the court whether or not you were aware while you were the family-based worker that Ms. Connor left Bexar County and left San Antonio to live elsewhere?
So she did not tell me when she actually left. I did know that her paramour had a job opportunity in Austin, and just asked them to let me know when they go so I could get a worker in that area that could work with them.
All right. So she didn't request permission to leave?
I was aware. Yes, I was aware. that
No,
the
my
plan
question
was
is,
to-
did she request permission to leave?
No, but we don't require that.
Okay. Were you aware that she was using marijuana?
I was when her probation officer contacted me.
All right. So you were aware after this court asked her if she was going to be positive for drugs. That's the only time you were aware?
The beginning of October is when I heard from her probation officer. So I visited with her the first week of October to discuss that.
Thank you. All right, Officer, I'm sorry, CPS caseworker Perez.
Your Honor, Flor Perez Chavez, yes.
All right, does anybody have any question to these two witnesses appearing by Zoom? Ms. Perez is actually in the location where Ms. Connor is looking to move.
Your Honor,
Just one moment, please. Any objections?
No objection. Not to say.
All right, Ms. Perez, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes,
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Flor Perez Chavez, FBSS caseworker in Travis County.
All right. Either party want to question this witness?
Is it Ms. Chavez or Ms. Perez Chavez?
Perez Chavez, correct.
Ms. Perez Chavez, when was Ms. Connor placed onto your caseload?
I received the courtesy request on November 8th, and I made a call to Ms. Connor asking her home address, and I made the visit on November 9th.
Okay, so you actually visited the home on November 9th?
Yes, she was in Riverside that time in Travis County, yes.
Okay. And has she remained on your caseload since then?
She has remained on my caseload. However, I did receive an email shortly after my visit that she was ordered to return and that I was basically that I was not gonna need to see her again.
Okay, so when you received that email that she was ordered to remain in Bear County, did you have that conversation with her as well that she needed to return to Bear County?
No, I received an email from her primary caseworker, just to my supervisor and me, let me know that I no longer needed to go visit her.
Okay. Are you aware that she gave birth to a child on December 12th?
Yes, I visited exactly shortly after she was released from the hospital to go see the baby.
Okay. Were you aware that her child was born positive to THC with THC?
Yes, that is also part of the another intake that came in.
All right, so did you verify her boyfriend's paramour / fiance's employment?
I have not, Your Honor.
And they were in Travis, then they moved to Buda, is that what I'm hearing?
Correct, correct.
And where are they staying? Are they staying in a place that they're leasing?
From my understanding, it's a month-to-month lease.
Okay, all right, thank you. Are there any more questions for this witness?
Nothing to say. No, Your Honor.
All right, if you could state your name for the record.
My name is Sylvia Cirola.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rolla, are you Ms. Connor's current pre-trial community supervision officer?
Yes, that is correct, sir.
And how long has she been on your caseload?
She has been on my caseload since she was granted, which was August 25th of 2022, sir.
Okay. So you're aware that the court ordered her to remain in Bear County, correct?
That is correct.
And I want to talk about how many times you had that conversation with Ms. Connor. Do you know how many times you've told her that she needed to remain in Bear County?
Yes, sir. I told her when I went over her conditions initially in September at our first visit. So I went over all her conditions. I explained everything that she needed to do. She said that she was aware of and understood exactly what she needed to do while on probation. And then also I told her about maybe 3 weeks before, or about 3 to 4 weeks before she moved out of the county, she came to an office visit and she stated that she might be moving. And she told me that her boyfriend was possibly going to get a job. He had gone to an interview, possibly going to get a job in Austin with Tesla, and they would have to move. At that point, I advised her of her conditions. I advised her she is not allowed to move unless the judge gave her permission. So I explained how the judge would give her permission. I said, I got to submit a document. We address the facts, and it would be up to the judge to allow you to move. You cannot just leave the county. And she said, well, I'm going to be homeless. And I said, well, Miss Connor, a lot of people commute from Bexar County to Travis County every day on a daily basis. They work there, but they live here. So if your boyfriend gets a job there, that would be what would need to happen. So because you need to stay here. And she said, no, because he's not going to be able to pay 2 different rents. So she said, he can't pay rent for me here and pay rent in Austin. And I said, well, then in that case, he would have to commute. I said, because you are not allowed to leave the county. You have field visits 3 times a month, and you are not allowed to move without the judge's permission. She didn't tell me that she moved. I found out on my own that she moved because I had called the CPS worker, and I notified the CPS worker that she had moved. We found out that she had moved after she had been there already like 3 weeks, I believe.
Does November 14th of 2022 sound correct, when she had her last court date, when she also tested positive for marijuana in court?
Yes, that is correct. That's the last day that she tested positive. Yes, sir.
So you spoke with her on November 14th of 2022, letting her know that she needed to be in Bexar County.
Yeah, she's known that she needed to be in Bexar County. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Her boyfriend rented an Airbnb for a month and she couldn't come back. And I told her, yes, but you were in court that morning and the judge told you needed to come back to Bexar County. Her boyfriend, according to some of the emails that she sent me, her boyfriend rented that Airbnb, one of those apartments, in the afternoon at 3-something in the afternoon, but she had been in court that morning.
As of today, which is January 12th of 2023, where is it that, to your understanding, that Ms. Connor is residing?
My understanding is that she is still living in Buda, Texas.
Okay.
All right. Is this witness excused?
From the state's perspective, yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in. You can remain on if you want to hear the court's ruling.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
So let me tell you both what I'm going to do. So the person I have before me has not followed the court's rule. We were here on November 14th, and I specifically said she used to remain in Bexar County. She doesn't have stable housing. She and her boyfriend / paramour / fiance / father of her children are moving from place to place with these children. The CPS worker is not doing adequate supervision, or either they're coming in and doing spot checks, and their spot checks is, oh, children are running around, they seem okay, they don't have any bruises. Then I'm being told now that there's some new allegation that a child may have been sexually abused. And the last time we were here, I think she has children that are under the age of 5. She has a newborn who's testing positive for marijuana, and she was here in this court and tested positive for marijuana. And the CPS case workers didn't even know she was using marijuana. That's not good. And she's not following my rules. This is what I am going to do. You are living in Bexar County. Do you understand? You will be in Bexar County by January 20th. If you're not here, a motion to revoke will be filed against you. And you're looking up spending a possibility of 10 years in prison. You will be in Bexar County. You're going to be supervised by this probation officer. There are going to be regular UAs. I'm going to want those field visits for 3 times per month. And please tell them to check on the children. You are not to have any males living in your home. That includes your paramour, boyfriend / fiance, whoever he may be. I'm shocked that the CPS caseworkers came in here saying that he works for Tesla, but nobody has any proof of that. It appears to me that they didn't make him do a service plan. In my experience, when you have children that are involved, Any boyfriend slash paramour slash fiance, they're supposed to be doing the service plan as well. They're supposed to be drug tested as well. You're jumping from hotel to hotel, from house to Airbnb. You're going to be in Bexar County. And if you're not in Bexar County, motion to revoke is going to be filed. You're going to be here by January 20th. And if your fiance slash boyfriend slash paramour loves you, he will rent a Airbnb here, or he will rent you a hotel here, but you will be here. And you are lucky that I am not putting down a no unsupervised contact with children. But since Child Protective Services is involved and they're supposed to be doing their job, you're going to let them know where you're staying. You're going to call that caseworker in Travis County and tell her, I am back in Bexar County. And you're going to call that Bexar County family-based service worker. You're going to tell her, I'm back in Bexar County. I don't know why they haven't given you a legal case. You should have a legal case because your baby was born positive for drugs. Maybe they're understaffed. So people need to start paying more money so there can be more caseworkers. But your children are not being taken care of well by you. And you're not looking out for them. You're just living your best life and you're disregarding the rules that I've set. If you are not in Bexar County by January 20th at 9 a.m. living here, a motion to revoke will be filed. And when that motion to revoke is filed, what's going to end up happening is a warrant will be issued for your arrest. The police will pick you up wherever they may find you. If you're at an Airbnb in Austin, in Travis County, in Buda, wherever, with just you and your children, the police are going to come there. They're going to pick you up and they're going to call CPS to come pick up your children. And your children are going to be taken into care of CPS and you're going to go to the Bexar County Jail. Either you will make bond or you will not. And then we will hear the allegations of you not being where I told you to be. And you're going to be looking at potentially 10 years in prison. Do you understand? And when are you supposed to be back in Bexar County?
20.
What time? All right. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing further from the state.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. And I'm going to want a UA today. When you're tested today, what are the results going to be? Because you are getting a UA today. All right. We're going to do a UA today. Thank you for coming in. Good morning. So are you all here for bond or you're asking?
Just for bond, I was just retained like late last night.
Okay.
I conferred.
Sure. All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 0841C State versus Kayla Connor. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ashley Jones?
Defense.
Roberto Ambrosino.
And are you Miss Connor? All right. And counsel, you're here to have a bond set?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What are you requesting?
I conferred with the state and I believe if the court would approve it, we were in agreement with a $20,000 bond. She does not have any new charges. I believe it was reporting. It was the main issue that.
And I'm sorry, you said the main issue was reporting?
Reporting.
Okay.
Form the basis of the MTR. I believe the state was going to ask for partial GPS. While we're not in agreement, we would understand that under the circumstances.
And with regards to, you mentioned reporting allegation. What do you mean? What is the allegation? Is it 2 months or what is it?
I believe it's over a year.
Okay.
It's my understanding.
All right. Is there anything else?
I'm gonna state your honor.
And she is on deferred, so I think that would lend to her getting a bond more than if she were on.
No, she's
probation.
entitled to a bond. You're
Right.
entitled to a bond. All right. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to set your bond at $150,000. There's to be full GPS. The court will ask that the fees be waived. Is there anything else?
Not from the state judge.
I don't think she'd be able to afford that, judge, or the court consider anything less than that.
Well, if you want to present some evidence as to that, but part of the reason for bond is to ensure that a person will appear for court. So did she ever not appear for court when the court asked her to appear?
I believe that may be reflected in the prior.
All right. So the bond will remain at $150,000, full GPS, waive fees. Do y'all wish to set the motion to revoke?
Yes.
All right. When would you like it set? 2 weeks from now or when?
2 weeks seems reasonable.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, if I can have a 2-week reset, this will be contested.
February 11th.
All right. You'll be set on February 11th for a contested hearing. And state you need to have your witnesses present.
Yes, sir.
All right, is there anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.